You gonna wanna quit every day. Every day. Because it's like, you get to a certain point, you like, boom, I get there, and it's like, you still got that ceiling on you that you can't seem to push, and you just keep pushing and keep pushing. It's like, why am I not breaking through? And I just got to this point. Because sometimes when you hop that hurdle, you like, man, oh, I made it through. I'm about to hop this next hurdle.
Right.
And you have that fight again. You got that struggle, and it's like, man, I'm tired, man. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? You know what I'm saying? You get that anger, like, man, forget this. All right, let's work on my first night on Beyond the Breaks. You know, this is the first video podcast we all decided to put together. My man, Robert Bourne, and my man, Terrell Lambert.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that we've been talking about doing for a while, and we actually put the time together, finally got together, and we're gonna put this all in action. It's a beautiful platform that we are trying to create, and that we have, that we're trying to create, that we can reach a number of people, man, no matter what walk of life you come from, you know. I think at some point in time, we've all dealt with similar situations on different topics that we will be addressing. Tonight's topic that we will be addressing is the biggest thing that we always talk about from being former athletes, being in you know, the training industry, working industry, just in life in general. We always talk about transition, and transitions comes in many forms, and that's one of the topics that we want to generate and you know,
touch on today.
You know, bounce off our ideas and through our experiences and our way of life. Terrell, when we talk about transition, like, you know, from you being a professional athlete, you know, just growing up, playing ball, and now into your career now, how was your transition moving forward?
It was tough. I think one of the things that we wrestled with, and you guys could probably attest to it, is reaching a point where, on one hand, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, just because, I mean, what do they always say, the NFL is not for long, but a part of you, the dog in you, the competitor in you, is like, well, if you got a plan B, you probably never believed in plan A enough. I know for me individually, that was something that I always struggled to come to terms with and wrestle with. Like, I walked a fine line on that, and it was a struggle between those two, like, different ideologies. So I'm wondering if there's others that ever felt the same. I would imagine so, but that was the toughest part for me, was wrestling with that, and then just getting into an adjustment of just normal everyday life as a civil, because you in the limelight, once that whistle blows, you play your last down and you get into the regular workforce, you kind of like behind the 8 ball, because everybody else, when they graduate college, you know, they're working towards those career goals, and they jump into it. But whereas with us, you know, we're still chasing the dream. So here we are, well into our late 20s, early 30s, trying to figure it out, and you at ground zero.
Square one, it's that reset, right?
Yeah, so it's definitely tough.
Do you kind of feel like we started later than most people? I always felt like that. Like,
absolutely.
You know, we're out here, we're trying to capture a dream. You know, we're doing something we've been doing our whole life. And I mean, when football was over for me, it was just like, damn, okay, what do I want to do? I had to sit there, had to try to figure it out. Like, man, okay, I need something that's got to make this amount of money. Then I just, like, I don't know, I felt like I started sitting down and just saying, like, what am I passionate about? Like, what am I good at? And that's what helped me find my career, and what I wanted to do was, I know I can transform somebody, man. I know that I can be a big help to someone. I started noticing it, you know, when I was in college. My team chaplain used to say, man, it's something about you, man. You got like this this aura that comes off you, man, when you come out from the locker room. Like, you dancing. I know it's gonna be a good day. If Rob is dancing, the whole
dancing.
team gonna dance.
Always dancing.
And I didn't pay attention to it, you know what I mean? But then I started paying attention. I was like, damn, you know, when I dance, you know, everybody is playing better. If I make a play, everybody make a play. It's contagious. We've been told that since we was in youth football.
Energy, man,
right?
That's huge.
So I just always go back to my memories of like things like that, and like I said, when I sat down after my career, and I was like, okay, I know what I want to do, you know. But it was a tough transition, man, for me. I think that most athletes go through a state of depression when football's over, because nothing's gonna give you that high the way football has. I mean, how y'all feel about that?
No, great. Before you get into that depression part of it, because me and Rob known each other since we was knee high to a grasshopper. You know what I'm saying? We was we were young, and I seeing Rob go through this transition. You know, long nights, you know, in the living room on that laptop. Like when he found that passion, when he said he knew that he could transform people. That's what got him into the, fitness world, right. You know, in the fitness industry, and creating these training facilities. And countless nights creating logos, putting workout plans together. And when we started this in Jacksonville, it was like that drove him, you know, that gave him that fire again, because this dude used to work out like no other. You know what I'm saying? I remember when we met Terrell, when I met Terrell, and just his mindset, this dude still work out like crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'd be like, yo, bro, like, stop. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's like-minded individuals. It's that energy that connected us all together. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not to cut you off, but like, this dude got Rare Breed tatted on the back of his arms, like.
Exactly.
Before I even knew that.
Before we even knew you. It was crazy.
Right.
And that's what I was about to get to when we meet him, and this dude got Rare Breed blasted on him. It was crazy. Remember we were saying the dude from up north from the Rare Breed Bike Club came down. I was like, oh, hold on. Who rocking the Rare Breed?
Who rocking the Rare Breed? Yeah.
You know, and that was huge for us. I mean, that is huge for us, because, you know, what it stands for, who we stand for, and what we set out to do. And again, we getting on that topic of the transition, and you was talking about how difficult it is, right? Terrell was talking about how difficult it is. He was talking about depression. I went through it as well. It was hard for me. In a form of depression, probably showed differently through us all. Everybody handled depression differently.
Right.
What's crazy, and going through that, they each said that we were behind the eight ball when you're a professional athlete, you're playing sports and things like that, because that's what drove us. He said there was no plan B, right? If there was a plan B, you wasn't serious about that situation.
Not at all. Yeah.
You know, you had to find that what was you passionate about. There was no plan B for you. Right? There was no plan B for me. And I didn't really learn how to do Excel spreadsheets and you know, all that compliance stuff that you need going into the workforce.
Yeah, no one taught us.
I didn't have that. I didn't learn how to do that until I started coaching.
Right.
So I had to start putting those plan sheets together, game plans and stuff together, how to start using all these different like softwares that, you know, that was going to help us. I didn't really know how to do that until then.
Right.
And it does put you behind the eight ball, you know, because once you become a professional athlete or you pursuing that goal, you're not behind the computer no more. You know what I'm saying? People don't realize that. You're not behind the computer because you're getting up.
And not to cut you off, but
and you want to work out.
But I feel like it stems from our parents, you know. I mean, we say it today in today's world. Our parents didn't know. They were letting us be kids. They were letting us chase these dreams of playing football. But like, I felt like if they would have kind of gave us a blueprint on what we should know and what we should, you know, like I picked up Photoshop. You know, Photoshop is something that is used in, if you're a business owner and you have to market your business, Photoshop is a great tool to have. To promote your business. But I taught myself through YouTube. You know what I mean? But I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just feel like sometimes our parents in our generation, they didn't know how to, you know, give us those extra tools to make us great, man.
True, but did they have those? Did they have access to the YouTubes and the things that we have now.
Right.
They didn't. So it was a different way of life. It was a different grind for them.
Right.
Because even then, they didn't use computers as much.
True.
Computers were used very little. A lot of things was written on paper.
Right.
They filed everything in paper, had these big old filing drawers and things like that.
Dewey
right?
Decimal System.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Through your transition, Terrell, what would you say was the most, in that period of your transition, the most difficult point in your time?
I would say coming to terms to who I was without the helmet on. Like that helmet I don't think it could be overstated enough how big of a mask that is for us all. One of the reasons that I always like football so much is that no matter how I could be playing, I have more anxiety doing this podcast than I ever would stepping into a crowd of 80, 90,000. We did that every week at Notre Dame, so
Yeah.
I mean, I had the helmet though. So as long
protect you.
as I'm looking between these two bars,
You good.
I'm good. But once that goes away, I think the fear that comes with it is just what are you gonna have to come to terms with when you take that mask off?
Right.
And being like, are you cool with what you see? Does that person measure up? Because that's the real you.
Are you not entertained? Nah, it's you're right, man, and that's a struggle. Like that's what my biggest fight too is like I want to be known as Tyron Brackenridge,
Exactly.
father, not Tyron Brackenridge, the football player.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like you want to create that transition. And like with you, Rob, doing that, what would you say at one point was your most difficult challenge in your transition?
Well, I went through some injuries, and I really believe that those injuries kind of set me back. And at the NFL level, when you break a leg or something get torn, they kind of label you, man. Oh,
yeah.
He's getting old,
He's injury prone.
Right, he's injury prone. So I think the injuries started my depression because there was no doubt in my mind that I could play on Sunday. I didn't take the same door y'all took, We all had different doors, free agent. You went free agent as well. So I had to go to the United Football League, like a D League. Like it was tough for me, man. Luckily I had a strong voice behind me with Dennis Green, the late Dennis Green, man, RIP. But it was hard for me, man. But I kept grinding. I kept trying to push through it, man. But when I broke my leg, that messed me up, man.
I was mad at you that you didn't work out when we was in Cancun. I'm mad. The dude, you would have had a contract waiting on you right there.
Yeah.
He felt like he wasn't ready and was in the best shape of his life. But
No, it wasn't that I
mentally,
I felt like I was overtrained. I was tired, bruh. Like when we
you
worked
were
out,
good, though, yeah.
we did some footwork drills out there. I remember, man.
Yeah, we worked
And
out.
I was like, I don't feel right, man. I just didn't feel right.
Man, I guarantee you, with your competitive nature, you'd have been all right.
Yeah.
You'd have been all right.
That's true.
I
I ducked that one. I'll take that on the chin.
I'm very
I
upset
ducked
with him
that
with
one.
that still. Still very upset with him with that. You know what I'm saying? A transition of mine, man, was with me. It was a plethora of things.
Plethora. How you say it? I don't.
Plethora. But when I was done playing ball, fortunately, I was done playing ball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was done. Like I didn't. Like me, after season, I come home for a couple weeks and I'm back on my grind. No. Like I didn't want none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have it in me. And then when I started seeing like CFL games on TV, I'm like, yo, you know what? I can get back by week 9. They can expand the roster. They can put me back. I can get back, play me another 9 games, collect me a couple checks. But I didn't go grind for it. Right. I didn't want it. I didn't want it that bad. You know what I'm saying? I missed that feeling, seeing the crowd, hearing the noise, all that. Like you would never get that feeling again. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know you never get that feeling again. And then it was just a thing of me happening to accept the reality of actually getting into the real world and work and starting from the ground up. I still struggle with that. You know what I'm saying? Still struggle with that. Like, I got the opportunity to coach. My biggest thing with coaching was like, I don't have no freedom.
Right.
I don't have no freedom. I'm constantly being looked over. I got a thumb on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really got to ask another grown man to go to the bathroom.
Right.
I can't handle that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just up and walk out of me. Hey, coach, I'm gonna go run the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Right.
No, come on. Like,
Yeah.
so it's basically like that. And then you have, if you're a position coach, your coordinator walk in, you got to straighten up. Your head coach walk in, you got to straighten up. I'm like, listen, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a mindset of being an entrepreneur, you know, or business, the business owner, whatever. Maybe that's my mindset. Maybe that's my case. But I can't go through that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just couldn't. And then trying to start from the ground up again, I don't know. And in my mind, I felt like I was better than that.
Right.
Right? And so that prolonged time, and guess what? I had to start, no matter what I did, I had to start from the ground up. And that's part of that transition. That's the reality that we have to face when it comes to people. No matter if you fresh out of college, you know what I'm saying? You fresh out of college. You used to having a structure,
Yep.
going to class, doing this, doing that. Not even a student athlete, just a college student. And then you got to get into that real world. That's another transition.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because in your mind, it's like, yo, I got a degree. I got my degree. I'm about to be making some good money. No.
Right.
You know what
It's
I'm
a lot
saying?
of
Because
dudes
check
with
this out.
degrees on the couch.
You get your degree, whatever you get your degree in, whatever field that is, you try to get a job, they're going to be like, you don't have enough experience.
Right.
You're not qualified. So they just want to see work history.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, whatever work history, do you have any experience in that? No? Well, we're not going to hire you. How am I going to get experience in that?
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, the game is cold.
it's
man.
a cold game. It's a scheme. You know what I'm saying? Type deal. That's how everybody feel like it's just like a scam. A scheme.
But we good. We lucky because we went out and we got that free scholarship money, man. Basically,
Got that.
Man, I ain't got 70, 80,000 over my head. You know,
That's the blessing that we were able to overcome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That is.
Absolutely.
But think about those who didn't.
woo.
You know?
I feel
You know,
for you.
you know what I'm saying? So and the hardship through that transition, and I'm gonna go to you, Terrell, on this one. Going into the academy, going through that training, being the maggot, the scum, all this, the white shirt, the nothing, going through that training again to become that fireman, you know, that grind, you know, you're doing the paramedics, the long nights, all that, like, to get to where you are. Kind of share that.
Man, going into the world of firefighting, it was weird because I just so happened to talk to a cousin. It's actually the wife of one of my older cousins. And she worked alongside a lot of LA City and LA County firefighters. I actually went to a county station, but I got hired by LA City. But it's a utopian type of culture. What I mean by that is, it's
I'm gonna have to
paramilitary.
have a dictionary when he say a lot of stuff too. I'm just letting y'all know.
What I mean by that is that it's very particular. My department in particular is very paramilitary, so everything is like by the book. They're metric driven. Everything is about numbers. Like, you know, you go X amount of feet to pull this hose. You got to push X amount of PSI for this water pressure, you know, stuff like that. You know, this size ladder goes to this type of building, to that lightweight roof or that gable roof and what have you. But it was like Chinese arithmetic.
Man.
I didn't know none of that stuff. To be real, I never even seen a black firefighter until I got to my department. I had no idea. They were
that
like,
part.
They were like gnomes to me. Like,
my dad got some good friends that are firemen.
yeah.
But
now-
growing up, you saw
Growing
that. You saw,
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
never
never
seen a
seen a
black
black firefighter in my life.
Yeah.
And that's why you get the trophy for me, my guy, because
Yeah.
that's a hard.
That's an accomplishment. That's why I want you to
Right.
explain. And I want you to explain your transition,
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
accomplishment, your hardship as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I seen that as well.
Yeah.
I seen both of it.
Yeah.
Both sides.
And we seen yours.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, no, it was tough, man. you know, if you don't fit a certain mold, there's a lot of people, and it's not just my department, but you know, across the board. Like, I mean, it is what it is. The fire department's a good old boys club.
Oh, absolutely.
So
A lot of industries are like that.
automatically they're gonna try and label you. Like, I don't even like telling people when I meet people, especially on the department, that like, you know, I'm an ex-athlete. The only time I ever tell them is if they ask. I mean, if they
Right.
ask, I can't lie because you can verify. You got
Right.
Google. But automatically they want to put a label on. They want to put you in a box. So they look at you. They'll say, "Oh, Terrell Lambert, he's an athlete. He's probably done
Right.
because he's an athlete." So I wouldn't expect him to do this. Or they look at you like, "Oh, he's a Notre Dame guy. Okay, well, he not handy with tools."
What, elaborate on he probably be done on that. Speak on that a little bit. What do you
Well-
mean by they saying you probably be done?
No, not done. Dumb.
Oh, dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, D-U-M-B,
I thought
dumb.
you said done.
And by dumb, I mean like
Stupid.
fire
Yeah,
dumb.
Yeah,
like
fire dumb.
he won't be
You
able
know
to
how
pick up the
knowledge.
material.
Yeah.
Like the number one reason why guys don't make it, usually it's a retention issue. He or she has a bad attitude, or the people at the station just don't like him.
Yeah.
I mean, I done played on, and it was funny because there was a lot of stuff that I drew from football that allowed me to like navigate through that and like push through, because I've been in locker rooms where dudes get cut because they're not 6 foot, not
Yeah.
because of the product that they put on the field. That happened to when I seen it with my own eyes. So, I mean, there'll be guys that get ran out of stations because the crew members don't mesh with them, and
Yeah.
they make it hard for you.
Cold game, boy.
They make it real hard for
I
you.
bet. So going through that tough transition, how did it feel once you graduated or you got that
Well,
certificate?
graduation was really the start of it all. The real kicker was getting through probationary period.
That part of
Because
it.
that was like, mentally, you got to go to a place to where you got to constantly remind yourself, like, okay, this is just a means to an end. Because there's a lot of guys on the department they take pride in what they call hammering rookies. And that's basically when like,
Like hazing.
yeah, but it's like they can't put your hands on you.
Nah, they don't want to do that.
No.
I
I can't go on record on that, but yeah.
I am
A few times I had to show him who I was, but that's a whole nother story.
There
But,
you go.
It's a mental game where they hammer you with questions that you know that you're not gonna possibly know.
Yeah.
Especially for guys like us, because I mean, like I said, I rarely even seen fired men, much less, firefighters. Let me be politically correct. Much less black firefighters.
Right.
I've never seen anybody that looked like me. I was a firefighter until I started like showing up to like, you know, meetings, you know, going to the Stentorian Center down in LA and meeting these individuals. And, you know, a lot of these guys are like giants in my mind. Like I stand on their shoulders because, I mean, their stories of dudes, man. I know cats that got nooses in their lockers. They had fecal matter put into their turnout boots.
Whoa.
Wow.
And not even because they were bad firemen, just because a lot of them were stellar. But just because they didn't want them there, the crew members didn't want, you know, no monkeys in their station.
The content of their character and the color of their skin. Huh?
Yeah,
That's
so
man.
a lot of times that pushed me through because I was just like, man, I can't, knowing what they went through, there's no way, if I'm not gonna make it, it's gonna be because I get fired, not because I quit.
There it is. There it is. Rob, man, the grind and the struggle to get where you are now, man. Like
Well,
that process.
I mean, it's simple, man. For me, we've been doing it our whole life.
But you're an angry individual.
Very. They used to call me angry light skin on the field. I think my boy, one of my homeboys, man,
he mad Rob.
man.
Did he give you that name?
I think it was Ronnie Prue, man. He's like, man, you always mad, man.
Man,
I'm like, man, I just got something to prove. You know, growing up in the area that we grew up in, that's just how it was, man. We had to fight. We had to show who we are, man. And you know, you're always gonna be challenged. That's how it was our whole life growing up, man. But I would just say, like, I think the people around me growing up molded me into who I am today because, you know, when I first met you, it was always a competition with us, always. First day I'm at school, you know, first day I'm enrolling to the school. You want to race? Man, who are you?
Come on,
man, do you want to race? I'm the fastest dude in the school. So
That's it.
You know, that environment, you know, that habitat, I want to call it.
I used to be fast. I ain't fast no more. I think once I got like
being around people
college,
that
it didn't work no more.
Being around people that you know, that are gonna push you, I think that kind of helps you later in your life, in your career. And you know, we've done a great job building this gym. I don't think it's it's nowhere close to where it can be. There's still a lot of back office stuff that we have to get better at, but I do believe that I can transform anybody, man. I mean, that's just what I do, man.
That's crazy. Like you say, you're not where you want to be, and a lot of us feel that way. But it's the learning along the way, and that's still a part of transitioning.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's the growth. Growth is, you know, and the transition is. Growth is part of transition, and it's all about how you transition, man. Because it was a fight for me, man. Like feeling like I didn't have the spousal support, feeling like, you know, just battling the daily of me finding that something new, you know, getting into a new industry. And you know, when I got into the financial industry and I going into the office, it was T-Brack, man. You know, talk about football this, football that. Like, bro, listen, I'm trying to learn this business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the rookie again. Like, I need to learn this. I need to get my feet off the ground in this financial industry. I need to learn as much as I can to educate and help. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I don't want to be glorified. And it made me not want to come into the office because, again, I was Tyron Brackenridge, a football player. It took me back to that, and I struggled with that, and I didn't want to show up to meetings, and then I just didn't feel like, you know, it was. I didn't feel like I wasn't getting properly educated, the education that I needed. But at the same time, the information and the education was there, but my mindset wasn't all the way there. I was still transitioning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
well, hold on. My question to you is, like earlier you said when you were done with football. You know, when you came home, you were done, right? So my thing is, going into the financial, did you ever have any like doubt, or did you feel like, man, this is gonna be tough, man? Like, or did you ever think like, okay, I could do this to make some more, like make other money, or did you put all your eggs in this financial industry?
Man, I was hustling. I was doing this, I was doing that, I was doing this because I wanted that money right away. I was so used to a dollar amount that was coming in. Right. You know what I'm saying? I wanted that money right away. I'm on my grind. I'm in this, I'm doing this, I'm trying to do this. I'm like, okay, this ain't enough. I need to do this. And that did take me away from that, and that set me back from my ultimate goal, right? And then I had to put in the studies. I got to get licenses. I got to do this. And then it's like, man, I need this money. I need this. I got this to take care of. I got this to take care of. Man, yes, it could pull you in different directions. And the biggest thing, you got to stay focused. Gotta stay focused, because if you hear, just like you mentioned earlier, you can't have a plan B as a professional athlete. We're not looking at plan B. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because that's our ultimate goal. We know how slim it is to get that opportunity. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So with me, it was like I'm money motivated. You know what I'm saying? Like,
still to this day.
Do large. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but it like I still fight that battle because it was a point in my life I was making large amount of money. Now it's like, I don't make that money no more. You know what I'm saying? So that's still a struggle to me. But that's part of the process. But that's part of the rebuild.
But one thing that you're learning through it all is, and we talk about it all the time, is, you know, we got to create more sources of income. You know, we can't put our eggs in one basket. Like, I definitely hear you, man. But I wanted to ask you one more question. And the last question I wanted to ask you was there ever a time to where it was a low when you got into Prime America? Was it ever like man, I don't know if I can do this? Like, did it ever cross your mind?
Man, sometimes I be wanting to quit every day. Every day.
But why?
I feel like because it's a grind. Like sometimes you don't get the results you want.
Right.
That's what happens when you're a business owner. As a business owner, entrepreneur, you gonna wanna quit every day. Every day.
But
Because
you gotta
it's like, you get to a certain point, you like, boom, I get there, and it's like, you still got that ceiling on you that you can't seem to push, and you just keep pushing, you keep pushing. It's like, why am I not breaking through? And I just got to this point. Because sometimes when you hop that hurdle, you like, man, oh, I made it through. I'm about to hop this next hurdle.
Right.
And you had that fight again. You got that struggle, and it's like, man, I'm tired, man. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? You know what I'm saying? You get that anger, like, man, forget this.
Well,
I'm just about to go get I ain't knocking no 9-to-5 jobs, but I'm about to go get this job because I know that I'm gonna get this guaranteed paycheck.
Right.
But then you gotta break it down to this. It's like, okay, all right, I'm gonna make $16 an hour. So $16 an hour, that could pay me what? 5 days a week? Just say
couple thousand.
5 days a week, just say $600-700 a week. Just say you make $600-700 a week, right? Now you got to calculate your time off hours. Now, if I want a new watch or I want to buy some new clothes for my kids, I got to say, damn, I got to put in 42 hours to get this, and this, right? 42 hours of my life just to be able to provide groceries,
Right.
right?
So you break it down by time.
So you're gonna have to break it down by time, but think about this, as a business owner, entrepreneur, you put in your work, you put in that grind, you're gonna get paid for what you work. If you put that time, yeah, you may not see that right now. You may see people doing all the things that they doing right now, going out, taking trips and doing everything they wanna do right now, but you're sacrificing that to do it later. And you building that residual. And you're talking about, yeah, we got to put our hand in another basket, but we got to monopolize and master what we have already
Right now.
before we invest in anything else. Because it's going to be an unfinished product.
Yeah.
Right.
I've always respected entrepreneurs and the mindset. I kind of like using the analogy of, I once heard this dude told me, he said to me, even though the lion or the tiger might be mightier than the wolf will never work at the circus.
Right.
Boom.
That's
You
true.
can't put a price tag on your freedom and being able to, I mean, it's one thing to liquidate assets, but when you're able to liquidate yourself on your own terms, like that's powerful.
Very, very powerful. That's why I was like, coaching it's not in me. I don't have that much time to sit there to put all that work in to make a group of men that much better when I could put that same effort and time into my business and into my own child.
Right. That part.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like, I struggle with that. I literally struggle. Like, I literally used to sit at my computer and be like, this can't be my life. I love the game of football.
Yeah.
I love coaching up people, though. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I like helping people. But when it came to that, like, this is my career. My baby girl's thousands of miles away. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you do college football and be closer to home? Now I'm on the road recruiting.
I said that.
Ain't no way.
And not only that, when you college recruit, your career is relying on the recruits that you bring in that may not even give you what you want. And that's the part that's unfair to them. So I get it, man. But I mean, like I said, I was one of those guys that was telling you, like, man, you should coach college football. You get a job easy, man. You know too much.
It wasn't worth it to me. My mindset is I need that financial freedom. I need that freedom. And I'm gonna grind and do what I have to do to create that and keep that, right? And it's a process. People don't understand, like, it's a process. You gotta work through things. Like, professional athletes, it didn't happen overnight.
Right.
You gotta know what's going on behind the scenes.
We bake that cake.
People
boy.
who have a 9-to-5 to become that manager, you don't know what it took for them to go through that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what it took for them to become a GM, the manager, or whatever. It took a lot of time. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do, is move up in a company, because it's a lot that comes along with it. You know what I'm saying? You never know what you have to do. It's probably a lot of snake stuff that goes on, a lot of, just hard work that goes on. You never know through a company, but think about that time and effort and that energy that you put in within yourself to reach where you want to go.
And I'm gonna say this. So let's talk about. Because I want to tie this back into the game. We've talked about it. There's been numerous times to where in the game, I could tell you, we playing Utah fourth in the nation. They driving the ball on us. We got to get this stop to win the game. And they do a fake field goal, we end up getting a stop. But we overcame adversity in that minute, in that quick 20 seconds that play went on. And sometimes I have bad days. Mm-hmm. You have bad days, you have bad days. I think that football and what we have went through, over our career is how we push through now as men and as adults and as family men, is how we push through our issues when we have a bad day at work.
100%.
Right.
So I want to touch on that. Like, can you give me a time to where it was like, dang, it's the same as this. I gotta get through this.
One thing though, bro, Herm Edwards, man, always, like, as a rookie playing for him, he always said, man, pretty much leave your BS at the door. Whatever you're dealing with at home, don't bring it into the locker room. And whatever you're dealing with at work, don't bring it home. You know what I'm saying? And that always stuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And that was something, it's so easy to say, but you still carry those emotions. We're all emotional creatures. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough. It's beyond tough to be able to make that transition of, all right, I'm home, let me have this peaceful time, whatever, or let me be with the family. Because anything can trigger us. Anything. Our spouse could trigger us, we could trigger our spouse. We don't know what type of day they're having, whatever the case may be. And so going through that was always something that stuck in my head, trying not to bring that home. But again, when you're a competitor, when you deal with so much adversity and one gas leads to, to that, when touch that flame, you never know how people could react and blow up, whatever the situation is. The biggest thing is, as athletes, that we have learned too, is composure.
Right.
Composure. But when do we pick and choose to use that composure? You know what I'm saying? We could be on the field and keep our composure. Somebody can cuss at us, talk all this noise, push us after play, we won't push them back. But as soon as we go home, our lady say something to us and we firing off.
Man, what?
You know what I'm saying? How do you handle your composure? Or sometimes you keeping your composure and we just letting that nag, and then eventually we'll break up, blow up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it all comes down of how, to the level of growth, again, in that transition. How can we transition that attitude? How can we transition that mind state based on each scenario we're in?
Right.
Workforce, on the field, on the court,
life.
At home, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's all about that growth and transition. And man, I could go on about this all day because I dealt with some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I literally had to tear myself down and build myself back up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally, self-counseling, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And by no means I'm perfect in any way, but I'm so far along than when I was years ago.
Big time.
So far along. So patient. I remember we used to be coaching and stuff. We'd be out there. He'd be like, man, Brack, how you so calm right now? How you not tripping? Like, you used to be the one going off, be snapping. Right. Like, I can't deal with that. Like, if I hear people yelling, arguments and stuff like that, just even scrolling on my social media and just hearing little yelling and stuff like that, bro, I get PTSD. And I'm like, scroll. Like certain voices and stuff. Man, no, I can't deal with it. So like, you gotta, once you understand yourself, you put the time in yourself, you'll have the time to be able to understand and view others. You'll have a lot more clarity. And that was probably one of the biggest transitions for me in my life. Honestly, I'm probably, like, mentally and emotionally, I'm probably, like, in the happiest place right now. The happiest. And not just saying that because I had to cleanse a lot of
Had the
things.
detox, huh?
The detox.
Yeah,
Yes.
purge.
You know what
You
I'm
gotta
saying?
purge. I think
Go ahead.
to reiterate what Herm told you, I think what you're speaking about is just being present.
Yeah.
Being present, being where you at that given time.
Be where your
space.
feet are.
You know, when you at home, you know, you wear the home hat. When we was in the office at the football practicing or getting ready for the game, you know, you had your hard hat on.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to the station, I got my yellow hat on. You know, I'm Firefighter Lambert. But, you know, I think the key is just not being a football player, not being a dad, not being an athlete, not being a coach, whatever title that you have. I think it's being a man who happens to do that.
Man with many hats.
A man with many hats. Because I heard Terry Crews say something a couple years back. He said, with men, it's always detrimental to us when we become what we do, because when you become your wins, you inevitably become your losses.
You talking about Terry Crews, the big bounce in his chest?
Yeah.
All right, we gotta keep some of his quotes to a minimum, but that was a good one.
That's one of the two.
Right.
But no, it just goes back. It just goes back to always keeping that little space for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't give something. There's nothing that you could give to your daughter that you can't get, that you're not willing to give to yourself.
Right.
You can't expect her to give that to somebody else. You can't expect yourself to give that to her if you can't give it to you. So take care of you first and make sure that's intact.
That's that mental health, brother.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
need it.
Absolutely.
You need
Hey,
it.
and we're gonna be touching on mental health. That's gonna be something that we really gonna dive in, because it's very important for, you know, black men, our black culture, because a lot of us don't like to talk about that. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
When we dealing with our issues a lot, we like to keep it to ourselves, especially as men. And it's very, very important that no matter what you're going through in life, again, when you talk about it, again, like our topic tonight is transition. That will help you transition. That will help you grow. I know we could talk all night, guys. But
Yeah.
Rod, what you got, any closing statements?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, man, you know, throughout my career, you know, I call it the fifth sense. You know, your conscience is your fifth sense. And, you know, touching on every aspect that you guys just touched on, I think that I've gotten a lot better with, and he tells me all the time, dang, you didn't blow up? Man, you getting more mentally stronger, man. Because I am a firecracker, man. I will go 0 to 100 quick, man. And I say God helped me a lot, man. You know, y'all know my story, man. I've been through a lot.
Yes.
Man, I mean, and, you know, it's all about my relationship, man, and with God and talking to my conscience, man. That voice that you hear when you don't say a word but you're speaking is how I make it through this world.
Yeah.
It checks me at the door. And but I'm very grateful for where I'm at. I'm very grateful for the friends that I've had growing up in life. And I look forward to this podcast. You know, we want to help as many people as possible, man. And by us telling our stories, I just feel like, you know, if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and hit that inbox and DM us. We will be starting an Instagram page and a YouTube page, and we're gonna keep this thing going, man. We will be having, you know, special guests. I can't wait for Lorenzo Booker to come on, man. That one right there is gonna be a good episode because he's funny and he's just like us, man. He keep it real, and that's how it's got to be. That's how you got to be in life, man. But that's it.
T, you got something?
Man, grateful, forever grateful. For the good and the bad, man, because honestly, all the bad stuff that we've been through to get to this point, the key is we learn from it. And when you learn from it, it's not a mistake in the first place. It's a necessary step in the process. Sometimes you got to take 2 steps back to move forward. So, man, just if I learned anything in my 32 years of life on this planet, is that life, I used to think that life was a mountain to be climbed. But now, to me, it feels more like a wave that you ride.
Yeah.
You know, the best ability is adaptability.
Hey, bars.
He got bars. He got bars, bro.
Man, nah, man.
That's
Hey,
all I say.
Hey, man, nah, just Man, we just want to reach, you know, a handful of people, sharing our stories. Maybe we can help by any means. Like you said, DM, like, subscribe, reach out to us, man.
Press
We're
that
here.
like button. Press that like button.
You know, we here. We've been through a lot of different things in our lives. We've transitioned to many different levels, you know, and it's all about, with us, it's about elevating and educating, you know. So we'll end y'all with that, man. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for tuning in. We love y'all. We out.
Peace.